All right, the last video is you said something about passing chords. Let me change the sound. You said something about passing chords. Passing chords really, they're not that difficult. It just kind of, as you know, it's just kind of filling in the gaps. So your song or whatever you playing don't sound so repetitive, and they kind of just add a little spice and a little flavor to it. I'm not really sure what key you're fluent in, but I just say, let me see. I think I know you mentioned something about C sharp, so I'll do some passing chords in C sharp to show you this. Not that hard. A prime example of a song that I like to use that's real simple for us when it comes down to passing chords is "How Great Is Our God." Is it just kind of sets you up to be able to move how you want to move in the song. Not all songs gonna have what you call passing chords on them because well I take it back, they do, but some songs are just gonna be you probably hear just kept straight because it just depends on how the song is written and stuff. Some songs sound good with passing chords added in them, and then some of them is just best to just keep it how it is. So you'll be able to listen and tell what you can keep straight and what not to keep straight. But really the whole trick to passing chords really is knowing how the song was originally um, wrote or whatever, originally how it go, and then you can add little different spots into the song. Song like "How Great Is Our God," it go from C sharp to the B flat to the F sharp to the A flat. So you pretty much let me check out. So you pretty much know that's how the song goes from C sharp to B flat, F sharp, A flat, back to C sharp. You pretty much that's how it go. Since I know how the song go, I can add different little spots in there to make it sound, like to switch it up or whatever. So, well, a lot of times most people do is they go from the C sharp, and what you can do, and the C sharp scale, the C sharp scale or whatnot. So what they usually do is kind of this is one way you can start out doing it is by adding notes within the scale, playing with notes within the scale. Um, that's a passing chord. That's a passing chord. So which is a flat chord. C in my left hand, and my right hand is an A flat chord. A, C, E flat, and I go to the B flat chord, which is a B flat minor chord. It's simple because I know C sharp is my first key. Then I use the C because C is in the scale. It's the seventh in the scale, so I'm going to B, and I'm going to B flat. So let me. That's a nice little walk down to get to the B flat. So you'll hear somebody do that, or what a lot of times people do. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it too is to get like a jazzy sound if you want to. Is um, usually whatever note you're going to, you can use the same quality of the note to get there. And when I say quality of the note, since we know this is a B flat minor chord, which is B flat with your left hand, right hand is F, B flat, C sharp. What I can do is I want to get there. So what I do is take a chromatic approach, which I'll borrow a note out the scale that I'm, not in the scale. I would just simply go C sharp since that's my main note. C is in the scale, so C fit, but that B not in the C sharp scale, so it sounds kind of off. But at the same time, it kind of resolves good, so I can easily go. You see, that don't sound bad, you know. And all I did was took, since I know the next note I was going to is a B flat minor, all I did was I walked it down to the B flat using a C minor, a B minor, back to the original chord that I want to go to, which is a B flat minor. That's one way you can do it to add passing chords to songs. You can do it like that. Sometimes it go in songs, and sometimes it don't. You just have to let your ear be the judge on what sounds good. But that's one way you can do it. You also, if you can also approach it going up, like a half step up. You can approach it like that. So the half step up, which was not in the key, which is A, is not in the scale, but you can do an A minor going up to a B flat. You can try it that way as well to see how it sounds. That don't sound too bad or whatnot. You know, you can always approach it a half step below the note, a half step above the note. So since B flat is my note that I'm trying to get to, I can use that A to get there, or I can use that B to get there, or I can walk it down using C. To me, the C, B flat sound better, but those are different tricks that you can start applying to different songs, and whichever one sound better, you can use. That's one way. Um, Another way is what you can do is diminish. A lot of times you can use diminished chords, approach them above the note, and you can get away with diminished chords as fill-ins or passing chords. Since the note above B flat, I'm sorry, below B flat is A, then I can use an A diminished to get to my B flat. And I'll play it for you. And it's best with diminished is since I know the melody on B flat is C sharp because it'll be my F B flat C sharp. That's my melody, so I always want to make sure my diminished lead right into my melody. Which they probably theory. If you took the theory, they call them leading tones. I want to make sure it leading into the melody where I'm trying to go, so I can actually use an A diminished to get there and see how it sounds. So see, that don't sound bad. So the A diminished would be A with my left hand, right hand would be E flat, L sharp, A, C. That don't sound too bad either. So you can do it that way. You can always, anytime you're trying to get to a note or whatever, you just make sure that you can always use diminished chords, but just make sure the diminished chord leading to whatever the melody is, or that last or that note you're trying to get to, because they call them leading tones. So that's another way you can do it. Um, uh, Another way is what I say is the easiest way, and it just seem right and sound. You can't go wrong with doing it. Is a lot of times what we do is we call, and you're probably familiar with the circle of fourth and fifth. And the reason why they call it the circle of fourth and fifth because the notes move in fourths and fifths. So since I know B flat is my note that I'm trying to get to add a passing chord to it, um, I can simply go, which I know F is, because F would be actually the fourth And sorry, my camera went out. The F would be the, I'm sorry, F would be the fifth note. So one way trick you can do to kind of know what go with what is you just take the note you're trying to get to and count backwards. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I count back 5 from where I'm trying to get, it'll be an F. So which F will strongly lead me to that B flat because that's a fifth. So I'm like, okay, so let me try a B a F chord before I get to the B flat. Um, which that's not bad. Um, that don't sound bad at all. What I like to use, and you'll see this a lot in C sharp, is it's kind of like theory wise. I think it's called like a F7 sharp 5 sharp 9. But you'll see this chord a lot when you're playing the key of C sharp. So it'll be F with your left hand, right hand to be A, C sharp, E flat, and A flat. And that pushed me, and it lead perfect, and it sound good because a lot of times music sound real good when you're moving in fourths and fifths anyway. So you can do it that way, and since F and B flat go, so I use that note to get to the B flat. So the sound. So that don't sound bad either. So you can do it that way. And then what we do is to keep adding passing chords and stuff. Is since I got F, now I know B flat is my home note. I know that. If I want to stretch my passing chord again, to stretch it a little longer, I just count back from F and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is C. So that means C leads strongly to F and F leads strongly to B flat. So, let's try it, see how it sounds. Wow, oh, okay, there go. Yeah. Um, so, yeah, that don't sound bad either. So, simply, and you'll hear this a lot in songs. There's That'll be C with your left hand, right hand to be B flat, E flat, F sharp. And theory turns, I think this chord is like let's see, it's a C, minor 7 flat 5, but it just got some inversion going on. And that don't sound bad going up since I just counting back, finding ways to extend my passing chords and to make it sound, you know, creative or whatnot. So that's those are a few ways they do. And the more you do it, the more you practice with them, and the more sense of the making, the more you just be able to do them on the spot. And so then the next phase of the song, that's the beginning. Yeah, yeah, because it go to the F sharp. So all I did was just added you can think in this way you can think in another key. A trick that you can do to think in another key, which you still in C sharp, but right now I'm gonna do a 2 5 1 in the key of F sharp because F sharp is where I'm trying to go. So I just simply did which is a 2 5 1 and F sharp. It's a 2 5 1 in F sharp, but if you keep it in the key of C sharp, it is a 5 1 4. But I like to think, and that's because jazz, they kind of teach you how to look at things as 2/5, a lot of 2/5 ones and other keys and stuff, which really technically in the key of C sharp it is a 5/1/4, but for it to make more sense and better to explain, I look at it as a 2/5 1 to F sharp because that's where I want to go is F sharp. So I just did a 2/5 1. I did that so I can go to my F sharp, and it just lead, as you know, 2/5 1 end songs, and it just lead that 2/5 1 just lead it perfect to F sharp. It resolve it perfect. So that note is A flat with my left hand, right hand is F sharp, B flat, B, E flat, and I just move the F down, so it'd be C sharp with my left hand, right hand would be F, B flat, B, E, and then I resolve it to the F sharp chord, which is F sharp with my left hand, right hand is F sharp, A flat, B flat, C sharp, and then you go to the 5, which is the A flat, and back to and that's just some simple ways you can add passing chords. The easiest way and the best way is to always look at it as you can approach the note um, a half step above the note, which is the same quality of the note. Like if it's a B flat minor or whatever kind of minor, you can approach it a half step above by another minor. And if you want to approach it half step above the note. I'm sorry, behind the note, under the note, or whatever. You can use a diminished to lead right to the melody of that next note. So it's just different little tricks that you can do, or you can think in a sequence of. That's really the easy way to me. You can think of a pattern of 2/5 1 in another key, and that's really the best way you can get away with it for it to really make sense and not get so confused. You get the easiest way to me is to think 2/5 1 in another key of where I'm trying to go. And the trick to it is because 2/5 1s, no matter what they is, majority of the time a 2/5 1, the 2 is gonna be some kind of minor chord, the 5 is going to be some kind of dominant chord, which is like a seventh chord, and you can resolve that to any major chord. The 1 can be major or minor, and you can get away with it, and it'll sound okay. Like I said, I'm not for sure what key you're fluent in the most or whatever. So I'll do another example in let's say F. Do another example of F of what I mean. And this can just be something. It can be something random. We just say we're just doing a random song. Just doing some talk music. We'll say just some talk music. So my talk music, my notes really gonna be. Hmm, my notes gonna be say a 1 4 5. That's gonna be my notes. Yeah, 1 4 5 gonna be my notes. So since I know, um, 145 is my notes. And like I said, I'm just picking some random notes to show you can how easy it is to use passing chords. So 145 is my notes. So of course F. So really, what I want to do is, since I don't want to just go straight to the F. So what I'm gonna do is a 2-5-1 to get the F, which is G C F in the key of F. So instead of just starting out like that, I'm gonna just do a 2-5-1 to make it sound a little different. So I go. So I just added. So I just added a 2-5-1, to change it up to make it sound different. Now I know B flat is my next note. So what you can actually do is, in the key of B flat, a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat would be C F, which will pull me back towards that B flat. So I'm gonna try to add it in there and see how it sounds. That don't probably progress so good because I'm already. And see, that's one of the ones where, like I said, it's trial and error. It don't really sound so good or whatever. But let's think. Okay, I know C is my next note after I get off that 4. So let me think 2-5-1 in C, which is D G C. That'll be my 2-5-1 in C. So let me try that and see how I come out with that. If that's too much, and sometimes you see, sometimes that can be too much. Sometimes you have to kind of rush chords in a measure just to make it sound right and make it fit. But if that's too much to do, then I just do a 5-1 because I don't have enough time in that particular measure, so I just do a 5-1, which is G to C. Here you go to change. You know, so there's different ways you can do it, but just always the note you're trying to go to, just always try to either do a 2-5-1 or that note or a 5-1, whichever enough time you got in a particular measure. Because sometimes you ain't gonna have enough time in the measure to fit all that stuff in there. Then it can come too. You can become a busy musician, be too busy trying to stick everything in one measure. So it's just a lot of trial and error and things you can use to come up with different things and techniques. But the easy way to remember, if you're not familiar with 2-5-1s and all the different keys, there's always the note that originally go in the song. If it's C, just count back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be G. So I know I can take a G, some kind of a G chord to get to that 5. And if you want to stretch it some more, from that G, you just count back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'd be D. So I'd be like, oh, okay, I can use a DG to get DG to get to the C, and you just keep stretching. Oh, count back 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. You just constantly count back to see how many, see is how far you can stretch it. A good sequence to do that, and this will help even with songwriting when you come with music. That's good intro stuff. You know, if you're doing a song in the key of say E flat, if you're doing something in E flat, and you know E flat is your one chord that you're gonna start on, man, you can stretch an intro so far with it with using those circular fourth and fifth pattern to get there and be creative with an intro. Prime example, I say a popular song we know, Bread of Life. So I know it started on the E flat, so I'm just come up with an intro on the spot. And I'm even gonna probably. Can you straighten up my back? Okay, hold on, I'm being there. Hold on. Okay, so you can do. I'm gonna stretch it as far as I can. Get back. Shh. So you know that's a way you can do it. And a lot of times too, what I like to do sometimes too is start like kind of rearrange people, you know, songs to a certain extent. Not so much to where I take away the song, but just seeing how far you can stretch a song or whatnot. So all I did was since I know E flat is the main note I got to get to, I simply I just really did circles and fourths and fifths and just went. I went from a D, G, C chord, F chord to a B flat, and then B flat gonna leave it to the E flat. And then if I wanted to get stupid and crazy, you can stretch it even more. All I'm doing is just going stretching it as far as I can go. Just stretching it as far as I can go. I even bar notes that's not even in E flat just to stretch it. And all I'm doing is using circles of fifths and fourths and fifths. So this time I'm gonna stretch it because B is not in the E flat scale. I'm gonna go B, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat, and then the E flat where I'm trying to go. So let me see. See, it's all kind of ways you can be creative and just come up with stuff or whatever, and you know, and get away with it. So there you go. There you have it. I hope that helped you for us with passing chords to kind of get a idea of how they work and things. And it's really up to your creativity, what sound good to you and what worked for you. And a lot of times, passing chords is basically a lot of trial and error because everything not gonna just flow with it. It just throughout the year. Cause that was one of my main things that I always wanted to know how to do is passing. Cause I was like, man, I'm tired of just playing the song the same way and not adding nothing in between. It sounds so basic. So I just for a long time I just tried to study. How can I get here? How can I get there? And when I took the theory and stuff, it kind of opened me up to a lot of possibilities. The classical theory, it do show you a little bit of passing chords, but it have a lot of rules to it, what they say you can't do and cannot do. But then like the more jazz theories, just like gospel, it break a lot of rules and they tell you what they say you can't do in classical music. They tell you in jazz you can do it and get away with it. But the main thing that they teach you in jazz is what sound good. You can break as many rules as you want to, but it got to sound good. If it don't sound good, then you know you're not doing what you're supposed to do because it just got to sound right. But yeah, just those are some things that'll help you kind of get going and keep you busy. And the more you practice it, and the more you know play with the different tricks and stuff and the techniques of passing chord, it'll make more sense and they'll just come to you naturally or whatever. It'll be like second nature.